Hi there, Dennis the gardening noob here. It's been 2 months since I started my winter lettuce sowing experiment, so I thought it would be a good time for an update. I sowed the seeds on the 23rd of January and the weather since then has been quite wintry. There wasn't a single night in January when the temperatures wouldn't drop below freezing point. It wasn't freezing during the day, but it was chilly nonetheless, with temperatures around 6 degrees Celsius or 40 degrees Fahrenheit. There were lots of sunny days in February though. The temperatures would reach 10 degrees Celsius, 50 degrees Fahrenheit or even more. But the nights were still freezing cold, at least the vast majority of them, with temperatures dropping just below -1 degree Celsius or 30 degrees Fahrenheit. So the February has been slightly warmer, and I guess that was enough for the lettuce seeds in the miniature greenhouse to sprout and come to life. I'm happy to report that there are several plants growing in that pot right now. The first 3 plants emerged around the 10th of February, which was 19 days after I sowed the seeds. 2 more plants emerged approximately 10 days later, and the rest of them followed shortly after. I am now noticing new sprouts almost on a weekly basis. The majority of the plants are still small right now, but as you can see, they all seem to be somewhat healthy, well established, and eager to keep on growing. Now what about the lettuce in the pot that I left outside in the open? Well, the progress in there has been much slower. Of course, that was to be expected, because after all, those seeds are exposed to freezing cold pretty much every night without any protection. So I didn't expect to see anything happening in there, at least not until the nights would warm up more significantly. Surprisingly though, one of those seeds somehow still managed to sprout and turn into a plant. It happened on the 26th of February, which was 34 days after the sowing. That plant is tiny and fragile at the moment, and its future is uncertain. It hasn't gained much growth since it emerged, probably due to a cold spell that started in the beginning of March and is still lasting. The plant is hanging on at the moment, but I think that the damage has been done and it looks like it won't reach the harvest stage. So what have I been doing with these 2 pots during all this time? Not much, to be honest. I would water the pots approximately once per week to keep the soil moist. I would also open the lid of the miniature greenhouse on sunny days as soon as the sun started to shine directly on it. These miniature greenhouses can heat up rather quickly when exposed to direct sunlight, and that heat can potentially kill the plants, so I really have to be careful with that. Anyways, that's pretty much all I did so far, and I don't plan to do anything differently, at least not for now. Winter with its freezing cold can obviously put a halt on seed germination and plant growth. What's interesting though is that the basic cold protection, a miniature greenhouse in my case, can overcome that freezing cold and put things in motion again. Yes, it does take much longer than it normally would. But nonetheless, the seeds did sprout and the plants do grow, despite the fact that it has been freezing outside. If things continue to proceed in this way, and if it doesn't get significantly colder than it has been so far, I think the lettuce in the miniature greenhouse is going to be ready for cropping within a month. That's it for now. Keep in touch by subscribing to my channel, and we'll see what happens in the near future.